I had two balls, and they were to observe the two balls. We know it's different masses because they are different shapes.
We are running a unique schedule here. Every day, our teachers have one period called PDC, which is Professional Development Cohort. All of my literacy teachers are off together at the same time. My math teachers are all off together. My science and social studies teachers are off together. My art, music, and PE teachers are off together. So those groups are scheduled for one period of PDC, which is Professional Development Cohort, every day.
And the ball with less mass will go less distance. And I try to...
My teachers become students, and they become students with each other. They learn from each other and share best practices. If they identify an area of need that we don't feel we have an expert on staff, we'll find one, bring them in to teach us through PDC. And you know, it's our way to constantly be reflective on our craft as teachers and to see where we can improve, where we can learn from each other.
From the exit ticket, I know right there and then that I will have to reteach. So
we look at student data together, they grade student work together, and it's also going to help us with vertical articulation. Grade 6 connects to 7, grade 7 connects to 8, grade 8's ready to get them to go to high school. So I want there to be a clear line drawn right through our curriculum here, and we are seamless and as we flow from grade 6 to grade 7 to grade 8.
So that you don't read the House of Seven Gables 3 years in a row?
Well, let me give you the analogy that I use with this one, or the comparison that I use. For 11 years of public school in PE class in volleyball, day one was the bump pass for 11 years. Now, logic would dictate that somewhere I should have mastered that, so that the next year when the volleyball unit came around, I would be doing other skills and building on other skills. So absolutely, vertical articulation is about skill building and scaffolding, that one thing lays on top of the other, that lays on top of the other, and everybody has to know what each other's doing in order for that to happen effectively.
They understood.
We can also look at trends. Collectively as a whole, our students are fumbling with number sense and operations, fractions, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. That's sort of a universal struggle for our kids here, and the data showed that in every grade level. So we use that data to schedule our after-school intervention programs, and teachers were able to talk kid by kid as to who should go into those programs. So it's this constant everyday reflection on your craft as a teacher, your students as learners, and the data doesn't lie. I mean, they're either getting it or they're not getting it. And when they don't get it, that's when you've got all of your colleagues in the same room to help you answer that question. You're not by yourself.
Couldn't this be a gotcha game? Hey, Brian's kids didn't learn it, mine did.
Could be a gotcha game, and we're not going to ignore bad data. If I can say bad data, we're not going to ignore it. But the point is, we've laid the foundation where those courageous conversations happen all the time. Not in the form of a gotcha, but in the form of, this is what happened, what are we going to do about it?
You call them courageous conversations?
We've got to just put it on the table. And that's what I refer to as a courageous conversation. I'm not happy with these results. I'm measuring your effectiveness by student achievement. This has to change, but here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it together.
But sir, many of my kids have no parents at home, a parent in jail, they don't get to eat properly, one has a baby. How can you hold me accountable for that?
Because you're an expert in mathematics, and you chose this career, and you went to college to learn how to teach. Their parents may or may not be experts in mathematics. They may or may not have gone to college to learn how to teach. When I go to my doctor, I expect him to diagnose what's wrong with me and prescribe something that's going to, cure me. When children come here and they enter your math class, you have 180 days to get them to master a certain level of course content. And it doesn't matter what they bring to the table. You are the expert in mathematics. You are the expert in education. This is why they come here, and this is why they come to you. What they bring may make it easier. What they bring may make it more difficult. But the bar doesn't change. They're going to master course content, and they're going to master it at a high, rigorous level, and we are going to hold them to high expectations regardless of what they bring to the table.
First section on your study guide is going to be vocabulary.
And how do teachers respond to that courageous conversation?
I started day one, before they even accepted the job, with a very courageous conversation with all of our staff. And no harm, no foul. And I said, if you don't want this job, no problem. No problem whatsoever. But please don't take it if you're not willing to work as hard as you've ever worked, if you're not willing to maintain high expectations, if you're not willing to, forget the book that I read, but it talked about the brutal facts. If you're not willing to embrace the brutal facts.
About yourself.
About yourself, about our situation, about what's going on. But if you are, I'll support you. I'll be your champion. I'll get you the resources you need because we'll be in this together.
How many people listened to that offer and turned you down? 2
turned me down.
How many of the people you hired listened to the offer, accepted it, and now you've discovered they can't cut it?
I wouldn't say I've discovered somebody who can't cut it. I have discovered folks who are struggling. And they may end up on a 90-day plan. There's certainly people that I've met with and shared my concerns. There are some sharp learning curves because many of our teachers are first-year teachers, and so everything is new for them. And so I have great patience with, say, mistakes of youth. That's fine. I was a first-year teacher. You're going to hit some bumps in the road. Where I don't have a lot of patience, to be very honest with you, are errors of laziness, errors of low expectations, errors of apathy. But if you're willing to work, if you're willing to try, if you're willing to take and apply feedback, then you'll be fine here. We've got the supports in place, we've got the schedule in place, we've got the personnel in place. I feel very positive about what's happening.
You're setting a high bar. Does the chancellor set a high bar for you?
Yes, the chancellor sets a very high bar for me. She sets a very high bar for everybody. I take this job very seriously, and I've met with the chancellor on a couple occasions, and her style and my style seem to sort of mesh. I mean, we don't spend a great deal of time meeting together. We sort of just get down to business and, just hit the big ticket items and just make very efficient use of our time. But the chancellor has entrusted me with this community. She's entrusted me with blending these two communities together in this consolidation in a way that will be seamless. She's trusted me to pull us out of restructuring status. She has trusted me with bringing on so many new staff members. But at the same time, she's charged me with moving student achievement up to the highest possible level.
How much time do you have to be successful?
Well, nobody's given me given me a deadline, if you will. I've set my own challenge. I've set my own time frames, to be honest with you, that I discussed with her. We sort of collaboratively came at that, and I want our kids to be making AYP without safe harbor in 2 years. So maybe not this year, but definitely next. I'd like to make it with safe harbor this year. I'd like to make it on our own and hit that number of 57% this year. I'd be delighted if we did that. But I'm going to give myself 2 years to get there. Then, in 5 years, I want to be a National Blue Ribbon school. I want to win the USDE Blue Ribbon for Shaw.
Are you afraid for your job? Is fear a motivator?
Well, I took a risk to come here. I left a place where I was very comfortable. But the chancellor, in the same way that I had very courageous conversations with my teachers before I hired them, she had a very courageous conversation with me, which is, I'm hiring you to do these things. I will give you the support you need. All you have to do is ask, and if I can get it to you, I'm going to get it to you. But at the end of the day, I am expecting this. And so I wouldn't say fear, but I know the chancellor's not going to turn a blind eye or a deaf ear to anything that happens here at Shaw. I know she's going to address it. And if she is unhappy with what I'm doing here, I'm gone.
No job security, no tenure?
It's a 1-year contract. I'm okay with it.